Welcome to the Weekly Reference. I'm Mark. Let's talk about movies. Each week I want to choose 3 topics that interest me, and I'll try not to waste your time. You can listen and watch on YouTube at The Movie Reference, or you can find the podcast version at The Movie Reference on wherever you get your podcast from. On this week's episode, I want to talk about the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer, my thoughts on Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and tell you guys my top 5 favorite Tom Cruise films. So let's get into it. So this week we got our second trailer to Jurassic World Rebirth, the movie that's starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, directed by Gareth Edwards. And it was a great trailer, I thought. I thought it was better than the first one. I definitely thought it looked exciting. It looked thrilling. There was like this vibe to it that I just kind of was like, man, this kind of feels like the OG, or it feels like Jurassic World, because to me, in my opinion, Jurassic Park and Jurassic World were the best of the franchise, right? Out of the 6 movies, those are the 2 that stand out to me the most. Those are the ones that entertain me the most, the ones I kind of just, well, I mean, Jurassic Park is a classic, of course. You know, I got a poster back there. And then Jurassic World, of course, to me, was just one of those films that it came out at the right time. You know, I remember being excited to go see it, and then going to see it was like, oh my gosh, it was such a pleasant surprise. And then the sequels to both of those films were just kind of a letdown in different aspects. And yeah, so here we are again. We're kind of getting another restart with Gareth Edwards, who did Godzilla, Rogue One, and The Collector, right? And The Collector, I think, what, 2 years ago now, 3 years ago? I lost the date, but when it came out, it was all, you know, talked about so much behind the scenes of how they did it behind, you know, using the Canon camera, I think. I can't remember which camera it was, but like it was so talked about, like, how did he do this? How did, you know, look at all this stuff that they did, they were able to create in this world, you know, with the minor budget and all that stuff. And the movie was praised for its technicality of it all, right? I saw the movie. It didn't, maybe I just didn't see it in the right moment. Maybe I need to see it again, check it out. But, and I probably will rewatch it before I see this film. But it was one of those things that it was so praised, and the director was, you know, kind of riding a wave that when he was announced for Jurassic World, I was like, I just got excited. I was like, even though he's played in the sandbox before, I mean, Godzilla and of course Star Wars, it's like, it's just one of those feelings of like, okay, what happened to that guy? And then he made The Creator, and you're like, oh, they're talking about him again. And then he gets announced for Jurassic World, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. Way to go. I don't know. I get excited for things like that. It's like when Tim Miller did Deadpool, right? Awesome. And then he gets announced for Terminator Dark Fate, and it's like, oh my God, that's awesome. Well, I hope it turns out great. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm a nerd like that. I just get excited for things like that. I'm also excited to see Mahershala Ali, who I think is a phenomenal actor. I feel like I haven't seen him though. Like, I know I have some holes. There's some movies that I haven't seen yet. I think he does great as the Prowler, you know, part of the Spider-Verse movies. I think he is great in Moonlight and all that stuff. So he's definitely a standout actor. So I just feel like I haven't seen him in much. So it's really exciting to see him in this franchise. And Scarlett Johansson, man, what I like about Scarlett Johansson is that it seems like she's not shying away from the fact that she's actually a fan of this franchise, which is really nice. And the fact that she was Black Widow in the MCU and things like that. She's not like fatigued from doing blockbuster movies. And I think that's really awesome. But the thing that I'm most excited about is that I've been reading lately that she was a fan of the series and she wanted to be put in. You know, she's like, put me in. And I think that's really, really cool for someone of that caliber to be excited still to join an IP, right? A franchise. Sometimes I feel like actors' like eyes kind of, I don't know, you watch their interviews and they're like, you know, I just did this for the paycheck. At least with this, it just feels like it's a genuine excitement. It feels really cool that someone of that caliber is excited to join this franchise. And, you know, yeah, the trailer looks exciting. It looks thrilling. It looks like they kind of harken back to both Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. It's going to have that vibe. It looks like an adventure film, which is always a plus in my book. I like adventure films. The thing that I'm thinking about the most is actually Campea that actually mentioned this, so I can't take it away. But when he said it, I was like, you are 100% correct. I want there to be plenty of dinosaur eating people as possible. Like, I don't want to see a bunch of, the small group of survivors narrowly escaping the jaws of death every single moment, every single dinosaur they encounter. Oh, they almost got him, they almost got him. No, I want some stakes. I want more, I want there to be an emotionality to this film, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most. And I hope there's plenty of, I don't want to say deaths. I feel bad saying that, but like plenty of people that to be eaten by dinosaurs, and for the audience to kind of feel that thrill of like, oh my gosh. And then I feel like there's going to be some sacrifices. I feel like there's definitely a hint that there's some characters that are going to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, or for the group. Obviously, the kids got to make it, right? The kids are going to make it. That's what it looks like. So to wrap it up, Jurassic Park Rebirth, I hope it recaptures the magic that we had in Jurassic Park, and the magic that they kind of recaptured with Jurassic World, if I'm being honest, in my opinion. And I hope they continue to do that, because this one, like I said, it looks exciting, it looks thrilling, it looks like a lot of fun. It's got that, I don't know, it's got a good vibe to it. It's got a really good vibe to it. And so, yes, and of course I want it to be thrilling, but I also want to care about the characters. So I really hope they don't just make these characters kind of one note, like Scarlett Johansson's just a badass, Mahershala Ali is the comic relief or something, also a badass. But like, I hope they're not one note. I hope there's deeper things to all the characters, and I hope it's worthwhile watching the characters go to this island, and I hope it's built on emotionality, watching this journey progress, because that's what's important. If you don't care about the characters, then how are you going to care about the movie? And of course, this is a dinosaur movie. Most people are coming to see it because of the dinosaurs. I get that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see until it comes out on July 2nd. Next, let's talk about Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. It's coming out this week. I was able to see it at the IMAX, no ads, no trailer premiere, where Tom Cruise showed up, and I was late. I didn't see Tom Cruise. I saw the row of cars, and I missed him. I missed him, man. But luckily, my seatmate, he showed me the video of him being there. So a little disappointed about that. But at any rate, I got to see Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts on it, the bad, the good, and my overall thoughts. So I'm going to start with the bad, because they kind of stuck out like sore thumbs, the bad. So the beginning of this movie it's a bit bumpy. That's the best way I can say it. There's something off with the rhythm of it at the beginning. Like, you're like, I don't know if I'm quite getting I don't know how to explain it, but it was really bumpy. And it starts to level out after the opening credits. It starts, all of a sudden, it starts ironing out the kinks, and starts getting, as it progresses, you're like, okay, I'm in it to win it. I can't wait to do this. Flashbacks were overkill, but that's coming from somebody that's already a fan of the franchise. I think subtlety is the best policy. Like when they did in Rogue Nation, they showed the rabbit's foot. Like, I was like, that's a cool, like, for me as a fan, that's awesome. The flashbacks just seemed like an overkill. However, there were a couple flashbacks that were worthwhile. Like, I don't want to spoil what they are or where they are. There is one that you do see in the trailer where the board members, the president and a few important administration people were there, and they're talking about the things that Hunt did in his past. That was perfect. That was a perfect way to do a flashback sequence, right? But let me just be prepared. They overkill it in the first 20 minutes or whatever. And it's even to the previous film, and I get it. This is done for a mass audience. They want to make sure everyone's there for the ride. They understand. They don't have to watch all the other movies. I get that. But coming from a fan's perspective, I didn't need all that. Other than that, expositions. Exposition heavy in the first hour or so. But it wouldn't be a problem because they found a clever way to do it in Dead Reckoning, right? They had every character kind of say the line after one another. So it made it kind of have this energy of bouncing from character to character, basically just giving, like, writing out a monologue and then giving everyone one of the lines to say. That was clever, and they do some of that in this one. The thing that got to me, or that I noticed a lot, was that a lot of the exposition was repeated is said by one character, and then maybe 5 minutes later it's said by another character, or and like there was a few lines that were just constantly repeated, and exposition, particularly the exposition portions of it, was repeated too many times for me, where I was like, oh, you could have cut that out. We already went over this. You could have cut that part out. There's certain things that emotionality per character, it made sense to repeat, and I'm not going to go any further than that because I don't want to spoil it. But they're like, trust me, there's some like, okay, did we really need to reuse that line, or we really needed to retell that part of the story? We already know that part. So just things like that, structure-wise, that I just kind of, especially in the beginning, very beginning of the movie, maybe the first 20, 30 minutes, I think. And then the Entity, which has always been one of those villains that sometimes I buy and sometimes I don't. I prefer it as a background noise, like the possibility of the Entity. I prefer it that way. Like when the action's going on and we know the Entity's out there, that's when I feel like the most fearful. But when it becomes an interaction of some sort, it's like, okay, this is a bit too much. You're asking me to suspend a lot of disbelief for this moment to happen. So just that, the Entity itself. And the villain, I mean, come on, the villain in these films tend to be one note. Philip Seymour Hoffman, withoutstanding, he's the best villain that's ever been in this franchise. But the villain, yeah, he's not getting, I don't know. I was thinking last night they could have cut him out, but that's all the bad. Let's get to the good, okay? I don't want to harp on the bad or anything like that, because this movie is really good. Tom, this is his best performance as Ethan Hunt. They give him so much emotional output. They did so many great scenes with Ethan. The team, of course, is solid. I love the cast that they assembled since Dead Reckoning, but their continuation into this film I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the score. I was kind of shocked that Lauren Balfe wasn't coming back, but I really thought the score was really done well, fit the tone in the movie. This movie is an adventure, man. That's what I loved about it the most, is that it's an adventure. Once it starts kicking off, once it gets on to what it's supposed to do, ooh, it's so fun. It's a lot of great moments, comedic relief and things like that. It's not as fun as Dead Reckoning, but it does in terms of like comedic moments and things like that. But like in this one, because they take it a little more serious in this one, but it is still fun. There's a lot of great little bits and moments between characters that I think are really authentic, and I really appreciate that. Of course, the two key stunts, the underwater sequence and the aerial sequence, are incredible. They definitely left you on the edge of the seat. That's what they've been teasing. I do want to give two special shout outs though. Tremaine Tillman from Severance. Awesome. He is so good in his role. Oh man, when I don't want to give away, but he says a line and it put a smile on my face. He is so great. And then Hannah Waddington from Ted Lasso. Holy crap! Who knew she could do accents like that? Like my brain couldn't compute. I was sitting there listening to her. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a really great accent. Like, because I'm so familiar with her on Ted Lasso. So I just, two special shout outs there. And also just for funsy, they totally reuse shots from Ghost Protocol. I want to know, put in the comments if you noticed that as well. They totally did. But yeah, so to wrap up my thoughts on Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the cast and crew really swung for the fences, made quite a film. It's big in scale, big in scope, big in length, and it's worth every penny sitting there in the biggest screen possible. It's filled with exciting set pieces and emotional character moments that I think are really great. They really pay off. As a fan of the series, I didn't need most of the flashbacks. However, there were definitely a few that I thought, oh, that's really nice. That's a really good job utilizing that technique. And like I said, it's a little bumpy in the beginning, but man, once it gets through the opening credits, it kind of smooths out, and then you're just there for the journey. So for me, I'm sitting at 3.5 out of 5 at the moment. But it could be like Dead Reckoning. Like Dead Reckoning was sitting around there too, but over the course of the 2 years, it's rose up because I just think it's getting better and better with each rewatch. So I definitely want to see this one again. I'm definitely going to buy this and add this to my collection. So check it out if you're interested. Finally, I want to talk about my top 5 Tom Cruise films. As I mentioned, I didn't get to meet him, but I did get to walk through the same door as him. And the cool part is, I've seen all 5 of these movies in theaters over the course of my life, which is really awesome. It's a really proud badge of honor right there. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about each of them because I think everyone is familiar, or hopefully they're familiar with his filmography. But yeah, let's get into it. So coming in at number 5 is Minority Report. Came out in 2002. It's directed by Steven Spielberg. This is the one where everyone runs, you know? And he's being... what can you spoil it? He's being framed for something. He's supposed to kill a guy named Leo Crow. And it's this really awesome sci-fi adventure film that I think is not talked about enough. I think it's one of Steven Spielberg's best. Tom Cruise does a great job. Oh man, that moment, oh, there's no question. You don't have authority, or you don't have it, or something. And the back and forth between him and Colin Farrell and all that stuff, man, it's so good. The action is awesome. Some of it, of course, nowadays is probably a little dated, but there's a lot of really cool and interesting things that they did with that film that I really enjoy. The precogs and the premeditated murder and all that stuff. And I think about that movie more than I even can imagine, to be honest with you. I think about it every time I take the trash out. Did he leave the front door unlocked? You know what I mean? Did he leave it open or whatever? Anyways, so yeah. So coming out at number 4 is Top Gun Maverick. Came out in 2022, and I got to see that with my sister. I don't know if you guys were down to ride. We did the Movie Reference podcast, and we actually went and we watched Top Gun, and then we went to go see Maverick. And we had a big episode talking about that. Man, it's just one of those movies that just hit me in the heart. It hit me in the feels. I think it's such a well put together story. I love the continuation, 36 years later. Great action pieces, great character moments. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal film. And not to mention, it has a badge of honor for me because my wife isn't the biggest fan of action movies per se. But this particular one, she was like, wow. This is part of her favorites list, and that to me is like, oh, that's great. And we saw it 3 times in theaters. She was pregnant with our firstborn, and we even watched it when he was born. Like we're just obsessed with this movie, and I feel like that's probably the music you heard, the most. Either it's the One Republic song or it's the theme ever since he was in the womb, but. Yeah, and then the other thing I like about this movie is that Maverick knows he's a pilot. It's one of those movies that when you hear it, you're like, man, he's where he belongs. He's destined to be a pilot. And I've been looking for that, man. That's what I keep doing these videos and stuff. I'm trying to find my tribe. Am I supposed to be on YouTube? Probably not. Am I supposed to be making movies? Probably not. But I feel like I'm supposed to find somebody within this realm of, of filmmaking and whatnot, and however that is. I want to find that place. I want to be like a guy nodding to me, go, you're where you belong. Like, okay. So yeah, Top Gun Maverick, man. It's so good. Coming in at number 3 is Collateral. Came out in 2004. Michael Mann's noir LA hitman Vincent. He is so great as the villain in this movie. His chemistry with Jamie Foxx is off the charts, of course. But man, him playing a villain is so why don't we have more roles where he's playing the villain? He's so good in this role, and it's so exciting. You don't know what's going to happen. It's this tit for tat between the 2 characters, great comedic moments, and just really intense moments, to be honest with you. That scene when they're at the jazz club. Oh, you don't know what he's going to do. He's so unpredictable. I love that character for Tom Cruise, and I love that movie, so that's why it's number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Edge of Tomorrow. I feel like lately, that's been everybody's like, this is the most underrated sci-fi movie ever. I saw it in theaters, man, and I knew from the moment I left the theaters, why aren't people talking about this movie more? Did the trailer sell it? No. Did the title changes multiple times sell it? Absolutely not. Did it look like Oblivion 2? However, I like that movie. Yes, it did look like Oblivion too. But when you go and sit there and you realize how are they going to promote this without giving away everything that happens in this movie because of how many times he has to die, right? Like it's such a fun movie, man, and you buy into the world, the reality of it all. They did such a great job of selling that. And yeah, it's just Emily Blunt. Oh my gosh, she's incredible in that movie. But yeah, man, Edge of Tomorrow, if you haven't seen it, that one is like, you got to run and go see it. I almost got to see it re-released. I think they brought it back to one of my theaters over here, and they had it for free. I just couldn't make the showing, man. I would have loved to see it again on the big screen. And coming in at number 1 is Mission Impossible Fallout. Came out in 2018. Christopher McQuarrie. I forgot Edge of Tomorrow, directed by Doug Liman. Sorry, but yeah, Christopher McQuarrie directed Fallout. It's the perfect Mission Impossible film. It's Tom Cruise's best, up until Final Reckoning, it was Tom Cruise's best performance as Ethan Hunt. I really enjoyed the emotionality. That's the thing I loved about McQ and how he was able to take previous installments and make them this full circle moment. And I think that was really brilliant on his behalf. So the movie overall, the musical score by Lauren Balfe is incredible. It's phenomenal action stunts. You know, he's skydiving, he's flying a helicopter, he's riding a motorcycle. It's got it all, man. And it's like this perfect tone, this perfect darkness that I just feel like it gives it this nice eerie feel to it. So there you go, my 5 favorite Tom Cruise films. Coming at number 5, Minority Report. Number 4, Top Gun Maverick. Number 3, Collateral. Number 2, Edge of Tomorrow. And number 1, Mission Impossible Fallout. So there you have it, the weekly reference. I hope you guys leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are, your excitement for Jurassic World Rebirth. Did you see Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning? What your thoughts? I left one thing out of that review, and I just want to drop it here. I love a loose end that they tied up. And that's all I'm going to say. I loved how they used that loose end. That's all I'm going to say. And then go ahead and tell me what your 5 Tom Cruise favorite movies are. I can't wait to read them below. Thank you guys. Tune in next week. I'll see you.